Hey there. Hi guys. I know I have not been posting in a really long time, but I'm finally back and hopefully more structured this time. So I know that last year, ever since we moved to the city of Long Beach, we were kind of coming up on a lot of, unsavory happenings. And recently, they didn't stop. They just kept coming, and we kept rolling with the punches. Um, and I learned a lot about myself when being diagnosed with ADHD, which I guess it's not a shocker, but it kind of is a shocker. I tend to start a lot of things and then I never finish them. And then I kind of like ramble on and get nowhere. Um, so, just to preface this drawing, or this coloring and drawing, I actually got this image. It was inspired through one of my Pinterest boards. It's actually more of an American traditional tattoo, and I absolutely loved it. And it's like this girl standing while riding her Vespa, and I was like, this is for me. I love it. I don't know if you guys knew this, probably didn't. I never mentioned it before, but I actually owned a red Vespa, a Primavera, and it was the red edition. So it had like the red seat, the red body, and even the red rims. So it was, I loved it, and I rode it all around Long Beach and had a blast doing it. And recently, it was actually stolen. So that was like a huge bummer. It was another of those feelings where it's like, damn it, like, why do things happen to me? Like, why do they happen to me? But, other things were happening around. It's not like the safest part of Long Beach. Bad things happen everywhere. I don't think it's like the worst thing that could happen just because, like, I'm safe. I never got hit by a car, got into an accident, or fell off the bike, even though I was like really driven off the road almost a couple times by some really petty drivers that just, people have nowhere to be. I'm sorry, but if you guys are like driving really fast in a very small street, don't. That's so unnecessary. I try to really be positive about the way I look at other people. So if you're like speeding or whatever, I'm always like, you know what? It's okay. They have to go take a shit and they really need to get to a bathroom like ASAP. That's what I have to tell myself, because if not, I feel like all the rage is just it's gonna come out of me, and I don't want that. But yeah, so that's another thing. So is the Long Beach curse still here? I don't know. I really don't know, because a lot of bad things happen, but so do a lot of great things, and we just keep rolling with the punches of everything. But I finally wanted to record. I think that losing my Vespa kind of, the loss of it made me miss it a lot. So when I saw this image on Pinterest, I was like, I have to record this. No, Pearl! Ugh. Pearl will be featured in this video because she decides to climb on my desk and steal the show for a little bit, but it's very distracting for me, and she kind of messes with the process a little bit, but it's alright. I love her. I guess I love her. She scratches very, very often now, and it's not like when she was a baby, like she never clawed at us, but she's getting into those teenage years. I think she's going to be one finally, but whatever. I think cats, years go by really fast for them. I'm not sure. But yeah, guys, got into 2 car accidents last year. My Vespa was stolen at the beginning of this year, so, we're off to quite the start. But I've got a positive outlook on things. And in this process, or in this drawing right now, what I'm doing is I'm using my very favorite Caran d'Ache colored pencils, the luminance ones. Those are like super expensive. I don't know if you guys that like art and really love to collect different mediums. That's me. I have oil paints, acrylic paints, Faber-Castell colored pencils, and polychromos, and I also have different coloring books and illustration markers, and just So it just continues piling up. I even have like stamp making materials. And I love using all of them. Just obviously you can't use them all at once. And I started to keep my art supplies in a place where I can see them, because for me it's very much like out of sight, out of mind. But these colored pencils, all of my Caran Dash products, like I always know where they are because they're the ones that are like constantly, even if like I don't see them, I know I have them and I know I want to use them. I just really, really love Caran Dash products. And I know they're super expensive, but the quality and the usage of them, like just using them is so, it's such a satisfying feeling. It feels so buttery on almost every paper that I've used. And this paper that I'm using, it's the Tant Strathmore paper, and it's like very fibrous. So it kind of takes, like I really have to use a colored pencil, go over a couple layers, but I absolutely love the way it looks on the tan paper. But yeah, that's just me. I love to just have a whole bunch of different mediums and different brands and test out and see what I really like. And these were really expensive. These were, I think, like 200-ish dollars, and I am not very good at financing, so I probably shouldn't have bought them. I know I couldn't afford them, but I've had them for a while now. Don't regret it. Yes, I'm poor, but I also really love my art supplies. And I love creating, so create for the sake of creation, and it's worth it in the end because I really enjoy doing. But like I mentioned earlier, late last year, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I don't know what type because I know like everything's usually on a spectrum. You could meet another person with ADHD that has better executive functioning skills and someone that has poorer executive functioning skills. And I am the person that has the poor executive functioning skills. And I noticed that when I'm creating something or I'm drawing something or I'm using something as a reference, doesn't really matter how it starts, but the fact that I can sit for hours, because I know the sped up is a couple minutes long, but the process is actually, it takes me hours. It takes me hours to choose, to decide my palette, the image itself, and how and where I want to create my art. But when I'm coloring, I can, I'm like in a trance. It's one of the very few times where that's all I'm thinking of. My phone can be buzzing and ringing, and TikTok is there, and Instagram and YouTube are there, but they would not distract me. Like this is my moment. Like this is where my brain is just so hyper focused that I'm not even completely aware of what's happening around me. Like if you're trying to talk to me, I probably am not hearing you, and it's not like it's intentional. It's just this is really where my brain kind of finds grounding, and I'm able to just focus on one thing without having any intrusive thoughts or wanting to get up and go do something else, because most of the time that is what's happening, and that's what I've learned also contributes to the fact of the ADHD diagnosis. It's I can pretty much jump to a different activity, a different topic, without even really finishing what I was currently doing. And I think I'm the kind of, I hate routines and structure, but I think it's one of those things that I wish I had the discipline for to build up to that skill, because, you know, that's how you succeed and that's how you get things done. And I lack that so much, and it's so frustrating because like cleaning the house, I can start in the bedroom, go into the bathroom, do a little in the kitchen, a little in the living room, and then tire myself out and not really finish anything. And it all just looks undone, and like it didn't look any different before. So now what I kind of try to do is I stick to cleaning or doing one thing for this certain time of period, like for half the day or until I get it done, if it's realistic. So that's the other thing, is finding realistic goals and realistic challenges, because I'm not going to overwhelm myself with too much. It's just I don't want to. I don't want to do that, but that's pretty much what I've been learning through like different people's stories on how their ADHD functions, and it's really fun. It's fun to learn about, like, I'm pretty sure we're all somehow not, oh, there's Pearl. See, like, things like that. I already don't know what I was saying. But this is where Pearl comes in. She's still really tiny. If you guys remember, we found, my cousin found Pearl in an alleyway, and she was, like, maybe 2 weeks old at the time, and she, like, couldn't eat. She couldn't really, she couldn't relieve herself. She apparently cats, you need to stimulate them in order to urinate and to defecate, poo poo stuff. And we had to do it the way the mom would do it, by licking. I'm just kidding. We would like use a little wet warm napkin and just like pat her so that she would feel like it was the mom, licking them, and then she was able to use the bathroom. But she survived. She was really malnourished, pretty sick. And was very tiny for the longest time. We thought she was going to be like a little kitten, like a dwarf kitten or something. I don't know if that's like the correct term for that. If you know, let me know. But yeah, she still stayed pretty small compared to other cats her age. She's still fairly small, which I love. I love having a small kitty. But she loves the sound and the motion of the colored pencil on the paper. And so she kept coming over and, like, just sitting on top of the paper and, like, rubbing her face on the colored pencils on the wood. And then she would come and, like, stick her head in the lamp. It was funny, but it was also frustrating. So I would toss her onto the bed, and she'd just keep coming back like it was a game for her. But, yes, so here, maybe I'll post, like, a reference image of the actual work. I don't know who the original artist is, but this was my rendition of it. It's not exactly the same. I changed up a few things, especially like the colors and the background image a bit. And even the bike. I kind of wanted it to look more like a Vespa. So there I am zooming in. I'd like to think that, I kind of wanted to draw me, but I didn't really have a good reference picture of me. But here comes like a little snapshot of the finished product. It's like only 4 seconds, so go take a look. Hope you like it. Comment, subscribe.